camera shake. In this animation, this shot, I actually parenting my camera to the red car, and I animate the group node on the camera in certain motion, but I add a camera shake option on the camera itself. So we will take a look at it, how I do it. So this is what I did when you look at on my red car group node. If you're using a controller, let me show all. So you parent it to the main controller of the car. So now on the camera itself, can you see I don't have any key on it? But on the group nodes, I have some animation to animate the location or orientation to the camera itself. But the shaking of the camera, this is what I did. So if I go to attribute editor, when I select the camera node, and under shape, can you see right here under film back, and there's a shake enable. So I enable it. Manually you could create a set the key on the shake horizontal. The first one is X and the second one is Y. So X is equal to horizontal, and then this is vertical because of X is kind of a horizontal line, left and right, and Y is up and down. So now I did the expression on it. So let me right click, and when I right click and choose edit expression, now on my expression I change to express name. You don't have anything right now, so don't worry about it, so that I can go back and forth between this and edit my script or expression. So basically this is the volumes of X, this is the volumes of Y. I use the noise command. Noise command is randomly noise add on any type of attribute, animation, color node, and such. And noise has X and Y, so I use the frame multiplied by noise of X, and then multiplied by noise of Y, which is horizontal, based on the frame number. So each frame, the number will be multiplied and changed accordingly automatically, so we don't have to set the keyframe. Now when we do this technique, the good thing is we don't have to set the key one at a time by right click and set the key. Right now I can't set the key because I have expression over it. So is if you right click on the empty, you will see the option of key frame, so that we don't have to do maybe every 10 frame, every 5 frame. So we use automate instead. However, with this technique, it's kind of randomized. So if you have a certain shake you want it to happen, like for example, when the car passed by the pothole, you want it to shake up and down or left and right. In that case, you don't even need to use this. You just animate the camera attribute on the translate node. That would be more effective because you can kind of control the times of the frames and the volumes of up and down, left and right by X and Y's. So you don't have to do Z, but you could if you want to add three-dimensional shake. Anyway, so now we're gonna I'm gonna show you how to do it. Okay. Okay guys, so I make decision that the red car drove by, and then when the green car or my skull car started to take off, I wanted to cut. So probably right around, how about just there, 470. and then I will switch the camera to a kind of point of view camera or over shoulder camera to the red car itself. So now I didn't have any shot yet, so I'm gonna create a new camera, and I'm gonna name this camera, let's call red car. I'm gonna put RDCM cam, red car camera. I mean, you can name any name you wanted to. So I'm gonna go to font view. Now my red car camera selected. I wanted to move. Right now my camera is on the workspace somewhere, the center of the workspace. So the quick way is I'm gonna hold shift and add selection on the controller of my car, and then I go to modify, match, transform, and match all transform. So the camera should move right where on the locator is. So I'm gonna select the camera. Now my move tool is on, so it's right there, and I can scale the camera a little larger. Okay, so now I have to figure it out. How do I gonna frame it? So this camera I should name 470. That's how I wanted to get started. 470 on the keyframe is on the shot. So I'm gonna change one of these panel so that I can see it, and right here. Okay, and I don't know when I want it to stop yet, so now I'm gonna change my time range, started from 460, because leave a little bit on 470 so that I can see. Here we go, like this. So right now the camera are not attached yet. So now I'm gonna rotate my camera, and I check on this view. Let's turn on resolution gauge so that we can see how it's gonna frame it. So I'm gonna rotate it. There we go. Move. I am on object transformation orientation. So exit orientation, I use object. I double click on the tool. So that's easier to figure it out. So I absolutely want my camera to place this on, on our right side of the viewer, because if you look at on the previous shot, oh, this is actually from 411 to 490, so I should start it from 490 instead, but it's okay. So I can make decision later. I can overlap them a little bit, it's fine. The reason is you don't want it to add the camera. Oops, one moment, hold on. I set the keyframe by accident on my camera. Let me break that connection. This one I don't have to break, I can just delete it. Where delete selection, here we go. I don't want to set the keyframe, so let's change to 491 because my last camera is in at 490. So let's do these ways, much better. So now I have to move the camera a little bit more. So let me rotate it, and I don't have to match the camera anymore because now I can see where it is. So I want it to be, let's look at on perspective view. So I can press F, here we go, and I want the camera to be a little higher, like it's about the eyesight. And here we go. I might need to rotate it a little bit more. Move it. I think this is about right. Now I wanted to keep the skull car to be on the right side, so that is create unity and continuity from the previous camera, because previous camera, if you look at it, is from right to left, so it will be right to left again. So we suggest to the audience that we kind of help them to maintain the orientation in the same direction as much as we could, unless the car has changed direction by going backward. In that case, you can switch to left to right. So instead of continue from right to left. So now I'm gonna parent the camera to the to the controller of the red car. However, just to be safe, because these volumes is gonna be really confusing if you try to animate these manually. So let's add another group node on top of it. So edit. Now, if you don't like to use group node, you can use locator like this. How about this time? Let's use locator so that we can really see the icon. So I'm gonna create a locator, and let me copy that name. I'm gonna copy to the locator, and I'm gonna leave underscore locator. Here we go. So the camera will be a child of the locator. However, we want to move the locator to match the orientation with a camera. So I'm gonna select locator, and I'm gonna use outliner, control click. So select locator first, select camera last, modify, match or transform. Now it's match. So this point we gotta freeze the transformation. Now you might curious about, so if we freeze it in here, so why don't we freeze it on the frame 1? You are right, you can do that, and if you do that, it's gonna be better. However, I wanted to short lecture. These would work because I'm gonna use just only on this range of shot, which is 491 to something. I don't know yet, so I can figure it out later. So right now I'm gonna increase the local scale so that I can see. Now the orientation will change to the workspace. In this case though, I'm okay with it. I mean, you could add rotation on it, you know, but then you have these volumes. But so I'm gonna let go. So I'm not going to change. I'm gonna just leave it like that. It's fine. So now I'm gonna, let's take a look at locator. So these should be 0. So I'm gonna middle mouse drag the camera node on outliner and drop on top of the locator. So now it's become a child, and then the locator itself will be a child of the red car control. Now after we parenting, can you look at right here? It does carry the volumes of the red car control because it's a child. So now what we can do though, we need to add extra node as a placeholder to take that volumes and leave the child volumes as is. So to do that, we're gonna unparent this. You can do Shift P, shortcut, Shift P, sorry, I press Control, Shift P to unparent. Now I want you to add extra group node on top of it. Control G, here we go, and then center pivot. Here we go. So that is center the pivot point right where the original locator is. And then I'm gonna name this. I'm gonna call placeholder. Placeholder GP. Okay, a little long name because we are not going to animate it. We're gonna use this for a preserved position. So now when I drag middle mouse and drop it, using middle mouse to click and hold and drag and drop over the red car node, these group nodes carry the volumes of the car control, but the group the locator node does not. So now we can animate it. So this point, can you see the camera? I am select the group node, not the camera. Right here, when it get to this area right there, the scorecard becomes invisible. So I'm gonna go to frame 491. I'm gonna set the keyframe. You can press S if you like. I'm gonna lock scale first. Hold on, lock, and I'm gonna press S. So I'm gonna set the volumes on translate and rotate. Now when I move this to frame here, I'm gonna start it to relocate it so that I can see. Here we go. Add rotation a little bit maybe. I may not like this though. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, let's scrap the timeline. Looks kind of weird. Let's see. Let me save code first. Clay black. I don't like it. It's look like the car are turn around, rotated. So let me change that. Let me delete that. Just delete it. Here we go. Delete that key. We'll come back. I think I should right from here. Frame just a little bit. How about 30? Frame 530. Press S, and then right here I'm gonna just move it out just a little bit. Here we go. So let's see. I think that's better. It still looks like this car has a motion on it. What if we play around a little bit? What if I move it up though? Let's do if I animate it up instead. That might feel better. Okay. I mean, not the best, but I could maybe reframing from the beginning again, but I'm gonna let go at this point. Okay, so now how do we add camera shake? So I'm gonna select the camera right there, go to attribute editor, and look under film back, enable camera shake, and like I explained it before, you can manually set the key. If you right click, can you see you can set the key? So you can set the key in particular frame on horizontal shake and vertical shake, but we're gonna create a expression instead. So I'm gonna start it from horizontal shake first, create new expression. So basically we are going to use this attribute and create expression to override or automate it on animation on the horizontal, which is the X. Let's give the name. I'm gonna do RDCM. So basically red cam and horizontal shake, horizontal shake. Here we go, and that's gonna be the name. So I'm gonna highlight this, middle mouse drag and drop so that I don't have to type. You're gonna put a equal to a noise command. You have to put noise and brackets. Inside the bracket you will tell is the frame number, multiply, use a asterisk if I pronounce correct, the multiply icon, X basically the attribute of the horizontal, and then multiply by Y the attribute of the vertical, and then you put semicolon to stop the command. Now we can't just use X and Y. I want to show you that what it is. first. So now we could just make a guess. If you do 1 and 1, that's 100%, which is will be really big shake, which no. Let's do 0.1 and 0.1. Now the number doesn't matter. It depends on you, how much you want the movement of the noise applying to either those two attributes. Okay, so we can do a movement, little movement on X, and then multiply another movement with Y-axis, and then produce the noise. So let's see what happens if we do this. Edit. When we click create, now the button switch to edit, and you see the volumes has changed. So let's play animation. So can you see it's a little jitter on left and right, just a little bit. If this is too much, you can add less movement, put 0 on it, and click edit. Here we go. So a little smoother. Now let's close that. Let's add this number on the vertical. Right click, create expression, name it, and you will understand why we want to name this, because it will help us to organize and be able to go back to the expression volume, the expression set, and modify them. So I'm gonna name a vertical shake. Use that vertical attribute. Same typing, equal to noise, same command. Bracket. Frame, no S, asterisk, and X is, let's do 0.01 again, and time, multiply again, asterisk, 0.1. Click create, and now when create, let's see, I might have to stop the animation and then redo it again. Not much movement at all. This is 0.1. So how about, let's do 0.11 too. Check a little more now. Let me reduce that to 0.5 on Y. So a little more noise. Lower number. What should I get? The frequency will be lower basically on that, so because 0.5 frequency, these are the frequency, because noise is a wave kind of. I think this is good enough. Let me try 0.0 on X, see what happens. No, not much movement at all. Let's do 0.05, equal number. A little bit nicer, smoother. I don't want that to be smooth, so let's do big one. Here we go. Now it's bigger. Okay, so let's say I like it. So now if you wanted to edit the horizontal, if you switch selection filter to expression name, now can you see? You can go back to horizontal. You can add that. How about 0.1 also? Here we go. I reduce, so that reduce the horizontal so that the vertical are a little more pronounced. And I can go back if I want to. Let's do this big on here. There we go. Now it's a little shaking to the left and right. I think this is it. Okay, that's it for the lecture.